Good evening and welcome everyone to Perth Festival's Access Information Evening. My name is Raf Gonzalez and I'm a member of the Access and Inclusion Committee. A special welcome to everyone joining us online too. As a visual description, I am of average height, green eyes, dark brown curly hair. I'm wearing a black logo t-shirt and pants and a jade pendant. I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on Wajak Nuna Buja, and pay my respects to custodians and acknowledge their ongoing spiritual connection to country of the Nuna people and extend that respect to First Nation colleagues in the room and joining us online tonight. I've been part of the Access and Inclusion Committee since 2020, mostly to advocate for neurodiverse artists and audience members in continuing support to the arts. I believe that it is important for our committee to be essential advocates for inclusion for all of us and lived experience to enjoy and be part of the festival. We meet 4 times a year to support the festival staff to ensure access is embedded for artists and patrons. I'm delighted to introduce to you Anna Rees, Artistic Director for Perth Festival 2025 to 28, who will share the program and access service available for the 2025 festival.
Thank you, Raf. Hello, everyone. As Raf said, my name's Anna Rees, and I am the Artistic Director of Perth Festival for the next 4 years. I am rather tall, about 5'11". I have blonde brown hair up in a bun. I'm wearing a checkered dress and dirty white sneakers. And I have some gold bangles on my right hand. This is a festival of truth tellers and mischief makers, of sand dunes and salty air, of nostalgia and euphoria, of infiltrating new places and spaces. It's a festival of neighbourhoods, a festival of surprise and delight. This is a festival for our city, for my hometown, and for our West Coast, best coast. I would like to start with people because that is who this festival has been created for and by and with. I'd really love to acknowledge the wonderful Raf for welcoming us all to country tonight, and to thank our Noongar Advisory Circle who ground me and guide me and hold me accountable every day, and to acknowledge, of course, that we are here in Boorloo on Wajak Noongar Buja, and to pay my respects to our elders, to our Wajak people who so gently and generously walk with us under these big West Australian skies and open country. Thank you tonight also to our founding partner, the University of Western Australia, principal partner Lottery West, the Stan Perrin Charitable Foundation for their ongoing support of access and inclusion initiatives across the Perth Festival program, and all of our valued supporters, donors and audience members who make our festival possible. And of course, thank you to all of you who made it here in person tonight, and thank you to all of you who are joining us online. So, we are taking over the East Perth Power Station for the next 4 years. It's really huge for us and it's really huge for Perth. It's an absolute dream come true for the festival to be able to take on an iconic space like this that has lain dormant since the 1980s and breathe life back into it for a moment of time. To be able to explore another pocket of our city, to be able to connect more closely to our river, to help tell some of the amazing tales the building and the land beneath it hold. In 2025, we take over the grounds and the surrounds and the entire incredible facade. There will be a dedicated sensory space located on site with trained staff offering support, and this space is fully wheelchair accessible. Out the front of the power station, there will be a wonderful free music stage which will show off some extraordinary international and local musicians from around the rest of the world, and in particular around the Indian Ocean rim. That place, Casa Musica, is inspired by the Southern European communities that have made Western Australia home, and of things like the piazza and people watching and dancing in the street, and things done very simply but very, very well. So at the power station from Wednesdays to Sundays, we invite you down from 5 o'clock, where there'll be this wonderful program of international music playing for free, somewhere to eat, somewhere to drink, lie on the grass, sit on a chair. And then around the back of the power station, there will be a fantastic new contemporary music venue, really leaning into the industrial grit of that space, of the incredible facade that will dwarf us all as we stand under the stars, experiencing some really fantastic music. One of these nights not to be missed is the phenomenal Altar Boy. Queer electro band Altar Boy will perform for one night only on Sunday the 23rd of February. They have, as many of you would know, recently dropped a fantastic new album, but for us, they are performing their entire collection of songs. An Auslan interpretation will be provided at this experience. Boorloo Contemporary is an exciting new program for the festival, building on our long-term commitment to the visual arts. Boorloo Contemporary will commission new works from First Nations artists at home and around the world, whose works defy Western categories of genre. Artists who might explore painting, sculpture, or installation alongside poetry, storytelling, performance, activism, new technologies, and more. These are works that will connect with tradition and show us all the future. In 2025, the Boorloo Contemporary program includes 2 solo exhibitions in galleries, as well as amazing projected animations commissioned for the East Perth Power Station site from 3 different Noongar artists from 3 different generations, and an immersive film and dining experience at the Rechabite Hall in the city. Yindabani woman Alice Guinness is one of our Boorloo Contemporary artists for 2025. Alice has been painting these extraordinary ceremonial bundud grounds for over 20 years. And for Perth Festival, Alice's paintings will come alive in new mediums, including neon sculptures and an immersive film and projection work drawing from the archive of the Juluwalu art group. This commission has also enabled Alice, as a resident of a remote community, to access health and support services in Perth and finally achieve formal recognition of her own disability. Alongside Boorloo Contemporary, we are delighted to welcome 10 remarkable exhibitions from many of the fantastic galleries and institutions across Perth, showing work from an extraordinary range of contemporary artists from France, Vietnam, Zambia, Philippines, Martu country, and right here in Western Australia from the outer suburbs to the CBD. One of our partner galleries, Dada in Fremantle, is a leading disability organisation who will be exhibiting Judith Anya Sampson's work, The Anya Puntawari World. Please head to our website or speak to any of us out in the foyer tonight to get further information about our visual arts program. One of the big things that I thought about when I got this job, actually, was how can we create something that connects us to each other, to this incredible place we live, and to Perth Festival every February? How can we create an annual anticipation and a signal that just for a moment in time we have arrived and that everyone is welcome? But how can we do that before you even get close to a box office or needing to buy a ticket? Kala Bidi means fire trail in Noongar. It's inspired by the Noongar tradition of lighting a campfire to say, "Can I come into your country?" Or lighting one back to say, "Yes, you can, you are welcome." Created by the next generation of First Nations artists and guided by elders, Kala Bidi is a beautiful, gentle installation of huge beacons of light that will stretch from the hills all the way down Arbilia to the Indian Ocean. Each beacon is a campfire, held by a spectacular, beautiful sculptural cocoon, and then surrounded by a sound installation that responds to each place. We invite you to take them in from afar or venture close and reflect upon the beauty and the power of culture and country. Kalabidi will light up our river every night of the festival, and it will return each year for the next 4 years. We are aiming for all the sites to be wheelchair accessible, and each site will have QR codes to provide audio description. Please do check on our website and with box office staff in January, when we'll release a lot more information. And now to move on to just some of our performance offerings. The Mahabharata, it's a tale as old as Homer's Odyssey or as recent as TV's Succession. It's a wild, amazing story of two families who go to global war over love and power and religion, fighting for control of the kingdom their ancestors once ruled. A story undoubtedly still relevant right to this very day. The Mahabharata takes an ancient Sanskrit poem and turns it into a once-in-a-generation theatrical experience. I'm so proud to be presenting a Mahabharata created by artists from the Indian diaspora and to share with our next generation of audiences this story that has been told for generations in every Indian and South Asian household across the world. Show a little clip. Led by an international South Asian cast with an adaptation that took 9 years to create, this tale will be brought to life at His Majesty's Theatre by a hypnotic live soundtrack of classical Indian music and dance woven together by the ultimate storyteller. It is a visually stunning spectacular which is presented in 2 parts. You are welcome to see it as 2 separate shows, or, for the ultimate experience, one complete event on a weekend where you can choose to join a traditional Indian feast as the story between part 1 and part 2 continues as you eat. In my opinion, the full immersion is the only way to go. For this production, there will be captioning, audio description and tactile tours on the 16th of February performances and an Auslan interpretation for the feast also on the 16th of February. This woman here in the image is Reality Winner. She's a young, blonde woman with blue eyes who in 2016 was 26 years old. She lived alone in her apartment with her dog and her cat, a part-time yoga instructor and a Farsi translator for the American government with high-level security clearance. In 2016, Reality Winner smuggled the first evidence of the Russian tampering in the American election out of her workplace in her underwear, and she leaked it to the media. Reality was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison for this act. This is a piece of absolutely gripping theatre. It is the word-for-word, blow-by-blow transcript of the FBI interview from the moment the FBI arrive at Reality's apartment to an hour and a half later when they take her away. There will be an Auslan interpretation of this performance on the 15th of February. Perth moves. The free summer dance hub returns to Perth Festival, but we need a much bigger dance floor. So we are relocating here to Forest Place. Strut Dance, our incredible local choreographic centre, will ignite this public square with the most impressive lineup of national and international choreographers, sharing their skills with anyone who wants to give it a go. Audio description and a tactile experience will be available on the 19th of February. Party is absolutely protest. Created in response to persistently inaccessible club spaces, Crip Rave Theory centres and celebrates all bodies that have been traditionally marginalised and left out of commercial nightlife. Crip Rave Theory is a disability-led party and a political statement that the rave can be revolutionary when disabled knowledge is at its core. A lineup of local and interstate disabled, Black, people of colour, queer and trans DJs will form the program. This is a durational rave transforming East Perth City Farm, and everyone is welcome. It takes place on the 1st of March for one night only. It is Auslan interpreted. It has 2 low sensory spaces with more details to be confirmed soon. We will also have a number of haptic vests available for patrons on the night. And no, that's it. Kakaka in Portuguese means the carcass, but more than that, it means what do you learn from one? Set to a powerful live soundtrack, this is a very high-energy dance work performed by 10 dancers who electrify the stage with intense percussive footwork. They explore what, in relation to your own cultural heritage, your own folk traditions, do you leave behind, and what will evolve over generations, influencing club and voguing culture to this very day. Audio description and a tactile tour of this performance will take place on the 9th of February. The Last Great Hunt, many of us know, are the darlings of the Western Australian theatre scene. The little company that could, that punch well above their tiny collective weight. They should be in Hollywood. They're lovely, they're talented, they're genius artists. And this is a new work by Ariel Gray, Luke Kerridge and Tim Watts. It will tour the world and it must be seen by all, big and small. It's a film created live on stage in front of you, sharing a spectacular story of love and penguin madness. There's audio description and a tactile tour on the 27th of February. Let's just take a little look at a trailer. Legends of the Golden Arches is another brand spanking new piece of independent theatre brought to us by the sharp, satirical and incredibly funny Joe Louis and Merlin Tong. They explore their love-hate relationship with their Australian Singaporean identity. There will be audio description, Auslan interpretation and a tactile tour on the 22nd of February. I'll just tell you a little more about this show. This starts with Joe Louis and Merlin Tong playing themselves. They're at their grandfather's funeral, and as is the tradition, they're burning money. Joe is sick of Chinese food, so he orders Uber Eats and he orders McDonald's. The McDonald's arrives, he eats his burger, and then he burns his McDonald's bag. And as a result, he and Merlin are both immediately transported into the depths of Chinese hell. It's fantastic. It's very funny. It's a fantastical ride, and we're very proud to have it in the program. Some more big, heavy-hitting pieces of theatre. August Osage County is modern-day classic theatre at its absolute best, about an extraordinarily dysfunctional American family. It's brought to us by Black Swan State Theatre Company and Belvoir Street Theatre, with a phenomenal production featuring an exceptional Western Australian and national cast. This is on in the Heath Ledger Theatre, and there will be Auslan interpretation on the 11th of March, an audio description and a tactile tour on the 15th of March. Big Name No Blankets is an uplifting, loud and proud rock and roll musical with just a little bit of theatre. It's a story about one of our greatest bands in Australia, the Warumpi Band, their rise to fame, and the impact that fame had on them as individuals and their community back home. You might not think you know their music, but you do. Black Fella, White Fella, My Island Home, all of these incredible pieces of music played live by a brilliant band. It's performed in every capital city to 5-star reviews and sellout crowds, and it's finally coming to us here in Perth, to the Regal Theatre, to close out the final week of the festival. There's audio description and a tactile tour on the 28th of February. Here's a little taste of the show. What is a city but its people? When was that invisible moment when we stopped being asked, what do we want to be when we grow up, to that question, what are we going to do to make a living in this world? 12 Last Songs is a 12-hour work taking over the Heath Ledger Theatre from midday to midnight. You don't need to go for 12 hours. Pop in and out, stay for as long as you're curious, and pay what you can. This is an opportunity for you to see a portrait of our city created live in front of you by the people of Perth. We are tasked, as Perth Festival, to find 30 individuals from 30 different industries, people who make this city tick. You will see them either perform their practice or their trade live in front of you, or they will be interviewed on stage if they can't perform their practice. For example, if they're a midwife, if they're a sex worker, if they're an astrophysicist. Auslan interpretation will take place for the entire 12 hours on the 15th of February in the Heath Ledger Theatre. Summit is a new offering for us. It dives into the bold and transformative role of artists as truth tellers and mischief makers, our provocation for the festival for the next 4 years. But this, trust me, is not your typical afternoon of panel discussions. Expect an artist-led day and night of critical culture and ideas exploration, where some of the festival's most dynamic creatives unpack the stories and themes driving their work. A night and day of hard-hitting stories, provocations, poetry and music. It's Auslan interpreted on the 22nd of February from 1 till 10 p.m. and is also pay what you can. So I've just spoken tonight about an offering from the Perth Festival program. I would now like to introduce to you my wonderful colleague, our associate producer, Mel Julianne Marshall, who is going to tell you a little bit more about our extraordinary film program for 2025. But can I encourage any of you, if you have seen things in the program that you would like to attend, that you have questions about, that I haven't spoken to tonight, please do come and see me or any of our wonderful team after tonight, or reach out to us after this event. But please welcome Mel to the stage.
Thanks, Anna. As Anna said, I'm Mel. I'm Associate Producer for Film and Performance at Perth Festival. I'm a person of average height. I have brown curly hair that's up in a bun, brown skin, and I'm wearing a black shirt and green pants. Perth Festival's Lottery West Films program has kicked off, and this season sees 22 films from all over the world play across 19 weeks. Live audio description will be trialled at 2 sessions this year. On Sunday, the 15th of December, the film Audrey, an Australian dark comedy, will be audio described live at Somerville. Before the film, a short film, Marloo Man, by local writer and director Zach James, will screen and will also be audio described. On Saturday, the 25th of January, the film Sing Sing, an American drama about the rehabilitative power of art, will also be audio described at Somerville. Somerville is also fully wheelchair accessible. We have several films across the program that are fully subtitled or have minimal dialogue. They are My Favourite Cake, The Wolves Always Come at Night, The Most Precious of Cargoes, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, Holy Cow, All We Imagine Is Light, Black Dog, No Other Land, and Grand Tour. Cine Wonders is a new program of cinema for young people and the young at heart. This will happen over 2 weeks in January, from the 7th to the 19th, at Luna on Essex in Fremantle and Windsor Cinema in Nedlands. We will be working with Sensorium Theatre to make some of these sessions more accessible to young people with disability. This will include sessions with some light, lower sound volume, facilitators in the sessions, breakout spaces, and the ability to come and go as patrons please. This venue is also fully wheelchair accessible. If you would like to talk more about the films in our program, I'll be out in the foyer afterwards. And now I'm going to introduce our final speaker for the evening, Louisa Norman, Engagement Manager.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Louisa Norman, Engagement Manager, as Mel said. To describe myself, I am female, I'm in my early 40s, I have long brown hair that's tied up, and I'm wearing a bright pink and green top. So I'm new to the team and building on the work of my colleagues to make Perth Festival as accessible and inclusive as possible. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the program tonight. We are always keen to hear your feedback on ways that we can make the program more accessible. As you heard Anna say earlier, we are trialling the use of haptic vests for Crip Rave theory this year, and we're exploring options to expand this in future. We'd love to hear your thoughts about that. We now have a team of staff from across all departments who are responsible for access and inclusion, and we continue to strive to make improvements and to challenge the festival to achieve ambitious goals, guided by the advice of the Access and Inclusion Committee. We have our lovely ticketing team, Sophia and Kim, here with us tonight, so you can book tickets with them in person in the foyer, or have a chat to them about how to book online. For any patrons who require the assistance of a companion or a carer, as always, a second ticket is issued at no cost to the companion card holder. Alternatively, you can book access performance tickets in person, on the Perth Festival website, over the phone, or by emailing access@perthfestival.com.au. For more information about this, please check the 2025 Access Guide that is downloadable on the website. As Mel said, there's several Perth Festival staff here tonight. We're wearing name tags, so please come and find us. We're happy to answer any questions, and please help yourself to many festival brochures on your way out. Before we wrap up, I would love to thank our presenters tonight, Raf from our Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee, Anna and Mel from the programming team, Linda and Alana, our wonderful Auslan interpreters, Brigida, who has been doing our audio description tonight. And I would also just like to extend that thanks to all of our Access and Inclusion Committee, some of whom are joining here in the room, some online. So that's Grace, Zell, Naomi, Patrick, Morwenna, Dore, Melanie, Alison, and Laura. I'd just like to thank everyone for making the time to come tonight, and for those of you watching online, it's great that you could join us. The recording will be available via the website after tonight, so please do share the link with anyone that you think might be interested. For those of you here in the room, we would love you to join us for a drink now in the foyer and further conversation, and we look forward to seeing you all at the festival very soon. Just a note, we do have to be clear of the venue by 7:45, so we look forward to sharing a drink with you first. But thanks again for making the time to be with us this evening.